Okay, we're back and we are going to install the rear wheel now. And that includes the rear drive. So I have these shoes I cleaned up the back hub and it is really kind of clean. It is not obviously it's not a final clean because quite honestly, it's going to get dirty before we get done. So it just doesn't make sense to do it. But it's nice and clean, so we're not going to get our hands all dirty. Checking the thickness, these things seem okay. They're better than anything I have right now. So I'm going to decide down the road whether or not I'm going to change the rear shoes. It's their when I put the caliper on them, it's coming up about 9 millimeters. So that actually seems really good. It's way better. It's like a millimeter more than anything I have. So, but I'll check the specs on those. And the first thing I'm going to do is install the rear drive. So on the rear drive, the axle is already up in here. So this is where it is nice to have an extra axle. I have an extra axle that I can basically put on the end. And so I have placed the coupler on it. And let me wipe my hands before because it's really all greasy. It's loaded with grease. And I need to put the gasket in there first. Okay, so let me put that on. And I am going to use the serrated flange washers for this as well. I'm sorry, the serrated flange nuts. Because again, I'm going to get superior gripping power. So let us put the gasket on first. I'm probably going to put a little bit of grease on these bearings too. So you know what? It really does not hurt. It's greasy as hell anyway. is the equivalent of having a nut and in essence, a lock washer on it. That's why I love them. And they have great holding power. So yeah, I mean, it's like blinding. It's just so clean, and it's just so it just like slides in. Really, it's actually almost all the way out. Really, the only thing holding it up is this pinch bolt. Well, is the area where the pinch bolt goes, and I'll show you where that is. Okay, we need to basically expand that pinch bolt a little bit, and it is um, and so that way I can drive the axle through. And yeah, I'm trying to move the tire there, and the tire's actually sitting because the shocks aren't on it yet. So I just basically have the final rear drive on, the axle through, and it's connected on the other side. So the bike is really starting to take shape now, and it looks really good. And shaft is connected to the transmission, and the bolts for the final drive have been torqued down, and I use the torque specifications provided on this old tractor. I think it just makes sense. And it seems like the torque specs are basically determined by the size of the bolt. So rear swing arm moves very well. And the next step would be to actually install the shock absorbers, which really that would be it. Obviously the brake drum is not connected. I mean, the brakes are installed in the drum, but the accentuating rod is not. And the also there's a stay that holds the brake in place. Um, that is not. So we will get working on that. And so the bike really looks radically different than when we first got it. And um, here is the brake stay that attaches to, in essence, the back of the swing arm to the side disc on the wheel. And it prevents it from moving, really. So as the tire is turning, that plate on the other side stays in one position. And if it would move all the time, then there's no way for the brake accentuating arm to actually engage the brakes. So it's really heavy duty. So obviously that thing looked really kind of crazy. It's all rusty. You can see all the rust on it. So it's going to get cleaned. It's going to get um, blasted, painted, and um, clear coated. So once it's done, it will be protected for 50 years, hopefully. I'm pointing at the distributor right now, and it's have not done any timing, but it is. We're going to get to that